What's up, Space Pirates? This is your captain, the incredibly intrepid Dr. Disaster, and today I'd like to attempt to answer a very interesting question. Has Bob Iger and Disney found a shred of sanity?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Rumors have been going around for the past day or so talking about Iron Man returning to the screen in the MCU with Robert Downey Jr. playing him once again, and I just can't get excited about it. On the one hand, I think to myself, hey, maybe the clowns at Disney are finally realizing that what they're doing is unpopular. The MCU just isn't well liked.
Do people not like me?
But I doubt it. No, in fact, I'll bet I know exactly what they plan to do with Robert Downey Jr. in the MCU if he comes back, and it won't be the glorious return that fans would like. Oh no. News hit us the other day in a podcast featuring Rob Lowe talking to Robert Downey Jr. News hit us that it seems like Robert Downey Jr. is in negotiations to return to the MCU, but I think it will be a return similar to Mark Hamill in The Last Jedi playing Luke Skywalker. And I can tell you this, if I knew Robert Downey Jr. in real life, I know what I would be telling him to do with regards to the MCU. Alright, we're going to kick this analysis off by taking a look at the rumor that Downey Jr. is coming back to play Iron Man, but before we do, make sure to like this video. It really helps with the algorithm, and if you haven't followed me yet on Twitter, you should do that. My handle is Dr. Disaster 1. In any event, this is the article we are working with. It comes from Bounding Into Comics. The headline says, Robert Downey Jr. seemingly confirms MCU return, suggests news is not just yet ready to announce. The article says, following a recent spike in rumors and speculation regarding the possibility that the franchise may pull such a desperate move as a last resort with which to save its continually plummeting reputation, Robert Downey Jr. has seemingly confirmed that he is in fact gearing up to grace the Marvel Cinematic Universe with a further appearance as his iconic incarnation of Iron Man. The actor first let slip this hint as to his red and gold clad future during an appearance on the January 10th episode of his friend and fellow actor Rob Lowe's eponymous Literally with Rob Lowe podcast. You know, I've read a lot of these articles where they talk about this exchange that happened between Rob Lowe and Robert Downey Jr., but let's just listen to it so that we can really understand the context of what was being said.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's how she wore her headphone.
But by the way, it's to preserve the hair.
That's right, yes.
Once you got the hair right, you don't want to... I'm sorry, I should take this.
Oh, you got somebody? You got somebody going on?
Oh, it's actually for you.
Is it some Marvel shit? You gonna break some stories here?
Not just yet.
You know what I say.
Huh.
That phone's gonna ring, baby, and I want to be on that call. I want to be negotiating for you. I know what your deal is.
You do?
Yeah, here's what you do. You
Tell
go,
me.
I'll come back and I'll play Tony Stark again for you guys, since you fucked everything up. But I want $1 gazillion, and I actually know what that number should be. And I want first dollar gross of every ensuing movie.
This sounds quite hostile.
That's what I would do.
By the way, historically, you are an excellent negotiator, and you're almost always out in front of your negotiations. You are a beautiful advocate for self.
Thank you.
All right, so a couple of important things, a couple of interesting things from that exchange. For all of you Marvel apologists out there, all of you wokesters who defend everything that Disney does, you have to understand, you are in the staggering minority. Listen to what Rob Lowe said there. He says it right out loud for everyone to hear.
I'll come back and I'll play Tony Stark again for you guys, since you fucked everything up.
It's what we've been saying for a long time in these spaces. Marvel screwed everything up after Endgame. There's no more refuting it. They've lost millions and millions of dollars on the MCU. That's why Robert Downey Jr. has such a strong negotiating position. But the most interesting thing, of course, that was said here is when Robert Downey Jr. says, "Not just yet," when asked if there is news of him returning to Marvel. Well, I'm not going to beat around the bush any longer. There are two possibilities of what his role would entail in Marvel as I see it. Number one is probably simultaneously the most desperate, but also the most sane. In this scenario, they bring back Tony Stark with their multiverse bullshit for another go with the original Avengers cast in an attempt to sucker viewers back into the Marvel Universe. Now, you may remember rumors of this coming out a few months back. The film The Marvels has crashed and burned since that rumor surfaced, so you have to think that if there was any truth to this at all, if Disney was exploring bringing back the original Avengers, then that idea has to be growing much stronger in their minds. And you may also remember rumor from a year ago or so that Bob Iger wants to bring back Iron Man in the MCU and Luke Skywalker in Star Wars, returning them to prominent roles in the company. This would, once again, be a sign of sanity, but also desperation in the wake of all their woke failures. It's extraordinarily desperate, considering how much money they have sunk into all these new characters that people don't give a shit about. It would be an admission of guilt. It's why I really don't know that I think this is going to happen. The second possibility, the second scenario for what Tony Stark's role would be if they brought him back to the MCU is this, and I think this is the most likely. He would be the Last Jedi Luke Skywalker style mentor to Riri Williams when she gets her own movie or show or whatever. Tony Stark will have essentially downloaded his consciousness into his computer system, and he would serve as a Jarvis-styled assistant/mentor to Riri. So he wouldn't really be back, he would still be dead, but we would hear his voice, we'd probably see holograms of him, and Riri will spend the whole time talking down to him, telling him that the Avengers were like oppressive and they were colonizers or something, and she's much better than him by virtue of not having his testosterone level. It's all very predictable, and it's why I don't even think that Robert Downey Jr. playing this beloved character can actually save the MCU. I wouldn't go and see this. Obviously, the Riri Williams idea is repellent on a number of levels, but even if they went with the multiverse revival of the Avengers, it just wouldn't work. Who wants to watch a cinematic universe with no consequences, where characters can just come back all willy-nilly? And it's why I think the second option of Stark coming back to be the AI mentor to Riri Williams, that is far more likely. And especially when you consider that Kevin Feige said that Stark would not be coming back a month or so ago. You probably remember this, right? We covered this on this channel. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Tony Stark will be returning to the MCU? And if so, do you think it will be as a return to the Avengers, or will he be Riri Williams' personal assistant? Or do you think it'll be something else? Drop your thoughts in the comment section and we'll talk about it. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your captain is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.